and welcome to This Thing Called Life, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories of giving, kindness, compassion, and humanity. Your host, Andy Johnson, will guide you through powerful stories of organ, tissue, and eye donation from individuals, families, and healthcare teams whose experiences will inspire you. Every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. We're so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to This Thing Called Life. I'm your host, Andy Johnson, and I want to thank you for joining us today. We have a really special segment today. We have two guests, mother and son, who are dealing with a genetic health issue that actually is also impacting another sibling. And so we're going to talk about that and just talk about organ donation, specifically kidney donation. So I'm really excited that you could join us today and welcome my guests, Miss Amanda and Hunter. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mother and son.
Yes. Yeah.
So happy to have you with us today. So let's just jump right in. So Amanda, you were diagnosed at a young age with what we call Alport syndrome. So can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Alport syndrome is a relatively rare genetic disease. I think it affects, my daughter has all the stats, like 1 in 50,000 live births.
Wow.
About 200,000 people across the United States. It affects the type 4 collagen in the kidney, which is also found in the ears and the eyes. So along with deterioration of the kidneys, it also causes hearing loss, vision loss over time.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was just a baby.
Okay.
My family, I would assume, probably had it for a really long time before we realized what it was. You know, generations prior to my grandma, likely they just didn't know and had a lot of young deaths. My grandma went into kidney failure in the early 80s at the same time as my dad.
Wow.
So they were on dialysis together in like 1982. She had a successful transplant it lived 36 years in her body. And she had it until she passed away.
What a miracle.
And then my dad had a kidney for 30 years. So for me, I think they kind of followed me from birth and just watched for blood protein in my urine, signs like that. I don't remember a time when I didn't deal with it. And it was kind of the same for my kids. You know, we got them checked out really early. So it's something that has just always been life for me.
Yes. So how old were you when you received your first kidney transplant?
I was 31.
Okay.
It was New Year's Day, 2015.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got that call?
Nerve-wracking. I still had small kids at home at that point. My youngest was barely 2. So
Wow.
I got the call. We were getting ready to have dinner for New Year's Eve. And I got a call from UK saying we have a match out of Arkansas. So you have to get here right now as soon as you can to see if it is a match for you. So I went by myself. Like I just packed everything up. I left my husband at the time with our babies at home. And I went to the hospital by myself and they did all of my testing and then everything was perfect. Somehow it was kind of miraculous and they did the transplant the next day. So
Wow. So you were able to live a normal, healthy, relatively healthy life?
yeah, for 10 years. I mean, I didn't really start having issues until October of last year. I noticed kind of recurring symptoms that I kept having. So I went to the doctor. They sent me back to UK. They did a biopsy at that point and showed signs of just chronic rejection, which the average lifespan is about 10 to 12 years
Right.
for a kidney. So they really couldn't find a cause for it. They just said it was chronic. And it held on up until a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And then it just kind of has gone downhill. So
Okay. Have you started dialysis?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
My GFR, which is the percentage kidney function, is about 9% right now. So
Okay.
I go a week from today for a surgery consult for dialysis access, and then we'll go from there. So
Okay. And so Hunter, you are 22 years old?
I'm 21.
21 years old, okay. So can you walk us through what your diagnosis, what that was like for you, and kind of how you're doing right now?
Well, it was kind of just out of nowhere, like when it first happened. Like when I first knew I was going into kidney failure, it was literally just no warning, just one day. It's like a switch flipped, and that was just the case. But like knowing I have Alport syndrome was just a lifelong thing. I don't remember a time in which I wasn't aware that I had it. It's just always been something kind of in the background there. But yeah, so I mean, ever since like I've been in kidney failure, going to dialysis and stuff like that, it's just been just kind of getting by and taking it day by day and trying not to like really like think too hard about it. Just trying to continue living life as I was before, just getting dialysis out of the way, and then afterwards just trying to act like it didn't happen, stuff like that.
So are you doing hemo, or are you doing peritoneal?
Hemodialysis.
Okay, so it's got to be tough. I know it's, of course, young man your age, you want to just get back out there and do the things that young men your age do, but that's probably got to be somewhat taxing on your body.
Yeah, I mean, it leaves you pretty drained, like the day that you have dialysis. I mean, once you're off of it, the rest of the day you're pretty much useless. I mean, it's just it just saps everything out of you. You're not really left with much energy. So usually it's just getting off dialysis. If I have anything that like needs to be attended to, I'll just do it real quick and then just go home and
rest.
Fall asleep immediately.
So when did you go? How old were you when you went into kidney failure?
I was 20 because it was before my birthday this year. So I was 20 when I went into kidney failure, and then turned 21 while I was on dialysis.
Okay. And what's your kidney function right now?
I'm not sure what it is right now. What was it last time I was in the hospital?
I mean, I think we kind of went down the right path with him. When he went into the hospital in December, his GFR was about 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
They gave us the option when he was in the hospital to wait and just kind of wait for everything to get worse, essentially, or go ahead and get a fistula placed. So we opted to go ahead and do that with him and then by the time February rolled around and he really needed it, he was ready for dialysis. So
yeah, I was really lucky in that regard, because it wasn't like I needed to like real quick get anything done to get me ready for dialysis. Just as soon as I needed it, ready right then and there.
Caitlin, my daughter, was a total opposite story. She wanted to wait, and then she ended up everything was emergent with her. I mean, she was in ICU. She had a tunnel cath placed. Her GFR got down to 4 or 5 before she started. So very different experiences for the two of them.
Okay. So again, you're a young guy, and to me, both of you have an amazing outlook on this. I feel that from both of you. Definitely have kind of that warrior mentality, like we're going to get through it. But for you, Hunter, what do you struggle with dealing with this disease and knowing that you need a transplant?
Honestly, at this point, it's just kind of the like getting like stuck in that headspace where I'm, I'll get to thinking like I'm not sure when I'm going to get a kidney. It could be pretty soon, like within the next month, or it could be, a couple years down the line. And it's just kind of getting into that, thinking where I'm like, it could be years from now, or it could be tomorrow, so that kind of gets me down. But, but like knowing that at the end of it, there will be a kidney transplant, and I'll get it. And, once I do have it, I'll be fine. So it's just kind of like keeping that thought that like it's not forever, it's just a temporary thing. So as long as I just keep going through that, then eventually it won't be a factor in my life, and I'll be good to go.
So has it been helpful just having your mom, since she's traveled this road before, to lean into and to ask questions and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah. It's been very helpful because like it's affected my mom's side of the family just like all the way down. So it's like it's helpful knowing that I have her readily available to ask questions and kind of know like have that reassurance that I will get the transplant and stuff like that. But it's very reassuring to know that like all these other people in my family besides my mom have also dealt with it, and they've all been fine. So it's nice, not being alone in that aspect, like knowing that like there's they've been through it, they've gotten through it, so I will too.
You'll get through it too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So can you talk to me about living donation? Are you seeking living donors? Are you also on the waiting list? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
my daughter actually had a live donor, and some of her tests came back. She had needed vaccine boosters and things, so she lost her first donor. Just timelines,
Gotcha.
didn't match up. But she has a large donor pool, I think, ready for her friends and everything. And then my brother is being tested to try to match me. So he goes for testing this week. I'm more hopeful that is a match. Hunter is a little bit different because he's a diabetic. He,
Okay.
in 2014, went into pancreatitis that was so bad that his pancreas just
Oh,
died. So
oh
it was
my
kind
goodness.
of an acquired diabetes. So he is hoping to get a pancreas as well.
Okay.
So his
So you're a
process will
kidney
be,
pank.
yeah.
Okay.
So his process will be a little different. Of course, we can't do a live donor for a kidney pank, so that'll take a little bit longer, hopefully not too long. But there is a donor pool for Caitlin and I. And
Okay.
if you were to opt, I guess, for just a kidney,
Then yeah, I could do the live.
so he's
donor,
got that
yeah.
option as well.
Okay. And you're both listed at UK? Okay.
He's being referred to OSU too,
UK,
right?
OSU, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. They have a great team down there. Great support system.
Yeah.
So you guys are in a very, interesting position when we talk about organ donation because you're standing in that space of needing an organ. What would you say, there's a lot of misinformation that is out there, and just, I think it is making people very apprehensive about registering to be a donor. But sitting on the side that you're on, what would you say to that person?
Our family has been so deeply impacted by organ donation. By the time I had my transplant, I was the 9th transplant within, our cluster of 5 people in my family before my kids had transplants. And within my family, we have several living donors. I have an aunt and an uncle by marriage who was not, blood related at all. My uncle's wife gave him a kidney, so everyone kind of shares their kidneys. But I think it is a hard position to be in. When my dad passed away in 2016 and they called me about his organs, that is hard. That's a hard pill to swallow when you get that
Sure.
that phone call, even being on this side of it. But I think that putting the word out there and getting education out about how it impacts so many people across the country is so important. Like, I've been doing work with Trust for Life in Kentucky since 2014, and I just think it's really important to educate people on, especially with kidneys. I mean, live donors, you don't have to, that sounds morbid, but you can give someone a
While you're
kidney
living.
and live, you
Yes.
live a normal life, and it really doesn't have that much impact on you. So we really try to get that word out with people. You can just save so many lives. I got a letter from my donor, which I can't give too much information, but I got a letter from my donor after my first transplant, and it's so touching to hear from those families and know that you're carrying a piece of their loved one on in you, and you get to carry that legacy on. I keep a picture of her in my house, so I just think it's important to kind of educate people on how important it is and impactful it is to the families that are receiving the organs.
Absolutely. And that's why I really appreciate you both coming on. I think while this is, this is your family's journey with Alport syndrome, but it's really a unique situation in that it's impacted, you as well as your son and your daughter, and just kind of being in this space where all three of you need transplants right now. I think it really kind of highlights the importance of organ donation, and to your point, the importance of educating yourself about organ donation. This system, we know, is built on trust, and we want people to understand that it is a safe process from the donor side as well as the recipient side. But it's just so important. What we do is like, I look at us as the organ procurement organization as the bridge between life and legacy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I appreciate you both coming out and just, sharing your personal story.
Yeah, we try
so
to.
we can educate more
Everything
people.
I see with any organ donation foundation, I like to try to be involved. My daughter is highly involved, so it's really important in our family.
Well, Network for Hope is going to be knocking on your door to be more involved with us.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because I think it's a powerful testimony, and I think I think you both are just a living testament. It's, organ donation, the need for a kidney transplant, that not only impacts just the individual, but it's, the community that you live and you work in, and, all of the things that you impact. It's going to allow you to get back to your daily life. And so, Hunter, I want to ask, what is it something that you can't do now that you're looking forward to getting back to?
Well, so before I was, in kidney failure and all that, I was in a band with a few of my buddies. We were playing shows pretty consistently and, working on music and doing stuff like that. And then when I started dialysis, it made it a little bit harder to work around all that. So I'm just looking forward to getting back out there, starting to do that kind of stuff again, because, I just love it. Even now, when I go home, I sit there, I play guitar, I do whatever I can. So I just want to get back to that. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm really dying to do it.
Good. So acoustic guitar or
electric
guitar?
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was the case. Nice. That's exciting. So when you've received your transplant, we're going to have you back, and maybe we could get you and your friends together and we could do a little jam session.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm all
He
in.
loves it, yeah.
I love that. So that's your passion, is music.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I really want to thank both of you for joining me today. I think this has been very eye-opening for a lot of people who may not know much about organ donation. As we know, people who are most in need are in need of kidneys. And so I think you are really just shedding a light and highlighting the need for more people to register to be donors, and also to go through the process to be tested to be a living kidney donor. And so I appreciate you both taking the time to do
No
that.
problem. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And again, I want to thank my guests, Amanda and Hunter, for sharing their story. And I want to remind everyone that, there are more than 100,000 people on the wait list for an organ transplant, and more than 90,000 are waiting for a life-saving kidney transplant. So I would encourage you to visit networkforhope.org. There is a lot of great information, informative information. Also, I would encourage you to talk to someone who's been through this. We try to have folks come on, like our guest today, just to share their stories to help educate and empower you. But if you know someone that has walked this walk, connect with them to understand more about organ donation. Again, you can visit networkforhope.org, and I want to thank everyone for listening, and just a reminder to please be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to This Thing Called Life. Remember, every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts so you never miss a new episode. We'd truly appreciate it if you could share, like, or leave us a review to help us grow.